All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight is our team call, and Melissa's going to start it off with product knowledge with MegaX. So she's going to go ahead and get started.
Hello, everybody. We're going to do MegaX today. Since there were some questions on it last week, I figured that this would be a good time to go ahead and go over it. Can everybody hear me, or am I breaking up again today?
You're good.
Okay. What I thought I'd start with is just an explanation of the overall benefits of omega supplements or fatty acids in general. Then we'll kind of go into what makes our product different than the other oils that you might find in a vitamin store or a supermarket. So obviously the oils from omegas are fatty acids. They're different type of fatty acids, but some of them are essential and some of them are non-essential. But just keep the term fatty acid in mind. There are both plant sources and fish sources or animal sources, which we'll go over the difference between those in a little bit. Just again, keep that in mind. So the benefits that I'm going to go over right now are for the omegas 3, 6, and 9. Okay. I'll do 5 and 7 separately, since most people are not very familiar with those two. So overall benefits of omegas 3, 6, and 9. Most people know that they're very good for your heart health, cardiovascular function in general. That can include circulation, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, things like that. So anything dealing with your heart, most people are familiar that omegas are very, very good for. It's also very good for your brain, not only for development when you are still pregnant with your child. Most of us take fish oils, DHA, which I'll explain a little bit, when we're pregnant to help with the brain development of the fetus. But it can also help you throughout your life. I forget the percentage, but I think your brain is like 60% fat or something like that. So having these fats actually really helps with your brain throughout life, throughout your lifespan. One of the things that some studies are leading to and showing is that it's actually helping with the progression or onset of dementia and Alzheimer's. Again, that goes straight to brain function. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind when we're talking about this stuff tonight, there are a lot of research studies about omegas and the different things that they can do. So the very specific functions that I'm telling you guys, just be careful what you don't post very specific things like, hey, this can help you with Alzheimer's. You know, this is just for your general knowledge when you're running across people that might have these issues. This can be something that you would suggest. But a lot of these are, scientific studies that are still being studied, but these are what studies are leading people to believe the benefits are. So again, brain development, brain health throughout your life, stress, depression, and anxiety. That actually goes along with your brain development. Let's call it the mood center in your brain is actually covered with fat. So that's actually where your fatty acids are actually helping with your mood. We talked last week about it helping with sleep. The reason is because it actually helps release melatonin. If you guys have been reading anything about melatonin lately, you may or may not have read that they're starting to realize that long-term use of melatonin is not good for you. Basically, your brain releases melatonin to help you sleep. That's what gets you into your deep sleep, into your sleep cycles. If you take melatonin consistently from over the counter, from a vitamin store, which anybody can get anywhere, your brain will actually stop producing it. It will start to rely on your supplementation. So if you're doing something like an omega that's going to naturally increase the production of that versus taking melatonin on its own, you're going to have a lot better long-term effects from it, and your brain will continue to produce it. So I know you guys probably all have a lot of friends that are on melatonin. So this is a very good aspect that you should definitely read up on so that you can talk to those people about possibly trying MegaX versus their melatonin or their sleep aid that they take at night. Let's see, another thing omegas are good for is your eyes, actually. Not only macular degeneration, which happens to a lot of us as we get older, a lot of it's genetic, actually. It can also help with dry eyes. Yeah, I heard that today. That was interesting. It can help with attention span. So children with ADHD, a lot of their parents do give them omega supplements. Can help with arthritis pain, stiff joints. An omega is a natural anti-inflammatory. It actually acts like an NSAID, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, except it doesn't have, like an aspirin, but it doesn't have the side effects to it, the harmful side effects, because it's processed differently in your body. It actually, I believe, does not go through the liver. So it can help with the inflammation, the pain that comes along with arthritis, but it also lubricates your joints. So that's another way that it actually helps with joint stiffness. So it can help with increasing range of motion and things like that in your joints. Let me see here. Again, back to the Alzheimer's and dementia. I was reading today that because of the fats, it can help protect your body or your brain from actually supposedly developing those disorders later on. But it can also, it's also been clinically shown to have a positive effect on gradual memory loss that's just associated with aging. I mean, as we get older, we all start to forget things. So there are a lot of studies that are actually showing positive effects of omega oils on memory loss as you age. Also helps with immune function. It can help protect against type 2 diabetes. It actually increases a hormone that regulates your glucose levels. I don't remember the name of that hormone, but that's one thing that I actually was not aware of actually helping with diabetics. That's another really good thing with our line of customers specifically. One thing on the depression that I read, and it's somewhat morbid, but I've read a couple of studies that really struck home with me, and that was on not only depression, but suicide. There are a couple of studies that studied people's brains, those that are depressed, and then those that actually committed suicide. And they are noticing a trend of lower levels of what's called EPA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid in the brains of those people that have either committed suicide or are clinically depressed. So there is definitely a strong correlation there. They're still researching to figure out exactly why. But I thought that kind of spoke volumes about everything. Those are your omega-3, 6, and 9, your basic functions for those, okay? Omega-5 and 7, I thought I would go over separately because those are not in your typical over-the-counter omega supplements. These are actually very difficult to find. Some of them are very expensive. So for the cost that we're getting MEGAX, this is a fantastic product for what it has in it and what the price is. Both of them, the ladies are going to love this. They enhance your ability to reverse negative effects of aging, specifically in your skin. They have an ability to sustain nourished skin cells, not only in your skin, but also in your digestive tract. So it can actually help us look younger. Omega-5 is from pomegranate seed. Pomegranates are not cheap, and that was one of the things I was seeing as kind of an expensive ingredient to have in this, and why we don't see it very often. The fatty acid that's in that is called CLA. If any of you guys have looked into supplementation for weight loss and things like that at a vitamin store, you may have heard of CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. It is very well known for reducing body fat, actually. And what it does, it actually regulates the glucose transport at your cell membrane level. So it's really, really, really beneficial for people that are insulin insensitive. So if they're not sensitive to their insulin, which is a risk factor of being diabetic, this omega-5 from the pomegranate seed can possibly help that. Let me see. This is the omega-5 is the one that mimics the behavior of an NSAID, an aspirin, that does not have the bad side effects. Omega-7 is from sea buckthorn and avocado oil. This one has been clinically proven to help reduce total cholesterol and your triglycerides. So again, that has that in common with omega-3, 6, and 9, very good for your heart. It does aid in weight loss and regular bowel movements, another thing that I wasn't aware of. And again, as I mentioned before, helps with your skin complexion by keeping healthy, nourished skin cells and digestive cells. Now,
MegaX, let's talk specifically about MegaX. So we've gone over what the functions are of each ingredient, but let's talk about why it's different than something that you would go buy from a vitamin store. Well, first of all, MegaX is the only complete omega supplement, which means it has 3, 6, 9, 5, and 7, all sourced from plants. There's not a single other one on the market like it at all. So there's a couple of reasons why that's important. Number one, sustainability. If we're killing fish, I realize there's a lot of anchovies, mackerel, sardines, krill, things like that. I realize there's a lot of them out there, but eventually we're going to kill them all off if we continue to get our supplements from them. So the sustainability of these plant products is a huge thing. We're economically friendly, and we don't have the nasty fish burps. Because let me tell you guys, if you've ever experienced those are not fun. I can also tell you that another selling point for me, the size of the soft gels. I know there's a picture floating around Facebook right now of a regular fish oil pill, and let me tell you, they are horse pills. They are huge, and these things are really small. And typically, you're going to be paying a lot more for mini gels, is what we call them in my vitamin store. I do want you guys to all take note of this. It's very important if you have vegetarians. This is not a vegetarian capsule. Okay, the outside of the pill is made with gelatin, which is a cow product. So although it's all plant-based, it's not a vegetarian capsule. So that's very important for people with religious beliefs and things like that that are trying to stay away from those types of things. Let's see, another benefit to not having fish is you have no worry of mercury contamination. If you don't know exactly where your fish are coming from and who the manufacturer are, you don't know that it's going to be purified from mercury, and that is a danger of eating a lot of fish and also of taking over-the-counter fish oil pills. It's also carrageenan-free. Those of us that have been around for the past year since this came out know that we reformulated it because some of us were concerned about the carrageenan in it. So it is now carrageenan-free. I wanted to kind of explain, now that I've told you what the benefits are, I want to tell you what comes from fish oil, because these are the objections you're going to get. People are going to say that we need DHA and EPA. Those are the 2 fatty acids that specifically come from fish. They are not directly in our products, okay? And that is what most pregnant women are told to take. That is what has the majority of the health benefits. Those are only from fish, okay? The reason why I personally think that our product is very good is because of an ingredient called SDA from the ahi flower. Now, SDA can convert into the EPA that we were just talking about 4 times more efficiently than any other plant source. So when you're thinking plant sources, if you go to Vitamin World and you came to me and you told me you wanted a plant-based omega, I'd give you flaxseed, I'd give you chia, I'd give you lecithin, things like that. We didn't have SDA from the ahi flower. So this one is a lot more effective at allowing your body to actually convert the SDA into the EPA, which is a lot of those health benefits we talked about. The other 2 things are ALA and LA. Those are your typical plant source fatty acids. Those can convert into DHA. So that's what we were talking about with the brain development with the fetus. If you have a pregnant woman, I know a lot of pregnant women that take this as their omega instead of a straight DHA, and their doctors approve that because your body can convert the LA and the ALA into the DHA. I don't want to confuse you guys. That's kind of the basics of what those specific fatty acids are. Other tips, information, omega-3 and omega-6, they are essential, which means your body cannot produce them. You have to get them from your diet or from supplementation. So that's very important for people to know. Now, omega-9 is not essential. Your body can make it, but it makes it out of omega-3 and omega-6. So if you're deficient in those 2, you're going to be deficient in omega-9. That's something that I actually didn't know either. I want to touch just a little bit about the ahi flower specifically. Again, since this is an ingredient that sets us apart from the majority of other omega supplements on the market, this is the richest plant source of that SD oil that I'm talking about, available on the market, period. You cannot get a better source of that SDA. It also provides, it's called gamma linoleic acid, which is an omega-6. It has quite a bit of that. And those two particular products are metabolized more efficiently by our bodies than other plant sources of fatty acids, which makes sense why they're more easily converted into the DHA and EPA. And as I said before, the ahi flour converts up to 4 times more efficiently to EPA than other sources. Again, there's so much about fatty acids that we could kind of go into. I just kind of wanted to stick with the basics. I think that since this is a newer product, a lot of people don't know a lot of its benefits. I've always been a huge fish oil advocate, and I am going to start focusing a lot more on this particular product because I really believe in the benefits of omega oils for your heart health and for everything else, and I think everybody should be taking one. So does anybody have any specific questions about anything we talked about, any of the acronyms, any of the ingredients?
If you do, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Anyone?
I have a question. When you were talking about the type 2 diabetes and you were saying it helps regulate, what were you saying? Something about the glucose in the body?
Right. It actually, let me get word for word here. It increases, there's a hormone that actually helps regulate your glucose levels. And this actually increases the production of that hormone in your body. So basically, you're going to have more regulation of your glucose levels.
Okay.
The increase of this hormone.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a lot of specifics on, how everything works. I didn't want to get too involved in it. So if you guys have any specific questions, by all means, ask. If I don't know, I will be happy to look it up for you and give you an answer later.
All right.
Anyone else? All right, Melissa, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I know that Melissa and Bev will not be here next week, so we will not be covering product knowledge next week, but we're still going to have a team call, and it just will be without the product knowledge. So does anybody else have any other questions before we get into a couple topics that I'm going to talk about tonight? We're good? Okay. So as you all know, everyone's looking to promote this month. And each of you that are on the call are either already promoted or looking to promote. So with that being said, it's now my job to pour into you guys and help you and your team to, grow your team. I'm sure you've all heard about the power of 3. We're really, really enforcing that right now, trying to get each of you guys to get your 3, and then those 3 find their 3. So for an example, this is how important 3-ways are. Angelina is in her 2nd month of working the business. I'd say it's like a month and a half. And she's only one more ambassador away from hitting silver. She has me doing 3-ways probably at least 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes she'll send me a message at like 10 o'clock at night and say, hey, can you do a Zoom real quick? So that's all Angelina doing, and she's really been pushing those 3-ways. So I highly encourage doing the 3-ways, for that reason. Regardless of it, sometimes she will just reach out, say, hey, are you available for a 3-way? And she'll introduce us real quick, and then next thing you know, she's either getting a sell a couple days later, or she has somebody joining her team. So I just want to really emphasize on how important it is to do the 3-ways to help get you and find your 3. I know some of you, even speaking for myself, you probably don't view yourself as a leader, or you don't feel that you're confident enough. You are, you guys all can do this. If I can do this, you guys can do this. So a lot of what I'm doing right now is trying to really do a lot of self-growth development. And so if you guys all have that, that lack of confidence within yourself, I highly suggest that you start looking into books or finding things to help your self-esteem and self-confidence, because that is huge in this business. It's super easy to look at your sideline sisters, your sideline friends, your partners, anyone around you, and start comparing yourself, and you can get easily discouraged. So you have to make sure that within your own self that you're strong enough. We all have our bad days. We all have our moment of weakness, but you have to keep reminding yourself why you decided to join Plexus. So with that being said, Tracy is, looking to promote to gold. Angelina's looking to get to silver. Susie, I believe you're gold, right? Susie, did you promote, or this month, right?
As long as everybody qualifies.
Right. Yes, I hear you. So, and we have Annette who's working, she got her first ambassador last month. Bev, I want to say that you're pretty close to promoting to silver as well. If you get Drew to sign, so my goal is for each person that I have personally sponsored is to get them to silver. And I also help those who are below, like my level 2s, who my level 1s have personally sponsored, to also help them get to silver. Silver is huge because you guys get to see the potential and see how much fun it is and how easy it can be. I'm going to say it over and over. Don't overanalyze it. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. I don't know if you guys watch the Diamond Docs that they sent in the corporate email, but in those videos, that's what they say. It's simple. Don't overcomplicate things. They continue to share, follow up, and continue to just reach out. It's all about helping people and building relationships. I know that some of you guys probably have not shared with the team what your guys' goals are or what you hope to hit and promote. And I know within my own self that sometimes I have a hard time relaying and sharing with you guys what my goal is. My goal is obviously to be at the top. I know that should be everyone's goal. But as of right now, Senior Ruby is like our highest rank of what our team represents. And I am pushing really hard and working hard to hit. I would love to be an Emerald team. And not only becoming an Emerald team, I believe that it also shows you guys the hope and the belief that you guys have the potential to get there too. Just where you guys all are is exactly where I started 2 years ago. So I just thank you guys for still being here, even after all the time, even after, a couple of you guys have, taken a break, but come back. But that's the beauty of the business. That's where you kind of get to reevaluate, and each time that maybe you take a time out from it, you come back stronger and stronger, and you end up lasting a little bit longer to the point where maybe you're not, shutting down, and you continue to work your business no matter what life throws at you. So my job is to help each and every single one of you guys achieve your goals. But if you don't share those goals with me, then I don't know what it is that I can do. Right now, Brian is looking to promote to gold, and Brian has like 39 people on his team. But of course, as you know, some people don't always work the business, and you only need 20 active ambassadors commission qualified to hit gold. And right now, he needs only 16 more. Melissa and Tracy need only 15 more. And so what our job is to do is to help our downline hit silver, and that's for them to find 3, and so on and so on. And so by us helping you guys achieve your goals is overall helping up, it's not just helping one person. Overall, it's helping your team, it's helping your downline, it's helping your upline. So don't be ashamed. I know that I've had a hard time with it. Sometimes I feel like, does it come across as selfish? Do you ever feel like it comes across as selfish when you are trying to achieve your goals?
Sort of, but not really, because that's what it's all about.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, though. It's like a sort of, but yet we're all in the same position trying to achieve the same goals. And until you kind of get a clear vision and a clear picture, because for me, it's taken me almost, 2 years to come out and say, I really want to be an Emerald team. I really want to push for this. I really want this for us. And, I think that as a leader and as some of you guys are growing, we don't want to push, and sometimes we feel like, well, I'll just let them figure it out on their own time, or, I'll just be and support them whenever they reach out to me. But at the end of the day, you guys are all here because you guys either came to myself or you came to the person who sponsored you or shared Plex with you, and you guys all had a reason and a goal. And it's our job to help keep you on track and to remind you. So I know sometimes I've had a couple, one-on-one talks with some of you where you say, oh, well, I don't want to sound too pushy, or I don't want to, just come across as rude or selfish. But this is the part in the business where, as a leader, where we have to grow a backbone and kind of, speak up. And it's hard. I have a hard time with it because we all want to just be like, oh, hey, how are you doing? How's everything going? And everybody's like, oh, I'm good. But yeah, you see no action. Nothing's changed. Maybe they don't have a PV, or they haven't signed an ambassador, or they haven't sent you any 3-ways. So that's where I have to step in and say, all right, you want this and it's all talk, but I have yet to see any action. That's where we say actions are louder than words. So I just want to make sure that I never want to sound selfish. I want you guys all to, achieve your goals. I want you all to be strong leaders. Like my first year and a half in the business, let alone I was a first-time mom, I was at rock bottom. I mean, I cried. I wanted to quit. I gave up. I put myself in timeout. I had no self-esteem. I had no confidence. And it's taken me some time to get back up to that point. In addition to also being like a first-time mom. Melissa probably was my saving grace when I wanted to quit the business. And by the grace of God, we ended up finding each other and have pushed each other in ways that we probably never would have probably been where we are today. But all of that, I want to assure you guys that you guys all I hear some of you guys say, oh, well, I just want to hit gold, or I just want 3 people on my team, or I'll never be there. I'll never get there. You will get there. If you guys continue to work this business and don't stop, you will eventually get there. Did you ever think, especially Melissa, did you ever think that I'd be where I am today? With a team of we have added on, last month it was like we hit 700, and now we're at like 730 people.
It's definitely come a long way. I'm coming up on my year anniversary, and it's definitely very different now than it was a year ago. That's for sure. I'm very proud.
Yeah. So, I know I repeat probably the same thing over and over on our team calls, but I just want you guys to all understand that all it takes is reaching out to, I don't know if you guys follow Sarah Marble. She's the one that it took her 7 months to get to silver. She's a diamond ambassador. She's a mom of 4 boys. I really had learned to love and grow on her is because she didn't know how to be a leader. She reminds me a lot of myself. She will tell her, she'll share with us all that she's not organized. She's a kind of a hot mess, and
I can relate.
I'm sorry.
I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure we can all relate, but she has opened and shared her struggles and her journey with us. And She talks about, you know, her struggles with time management and the things that have helped her along the way. I mean, I have built a relationship with her dad, so I've learned a little bit more about her. Like, she didn't start doing team calls until she hit Emerald. Like, she didn't know what she was doing as soon as her team started growing. So the sooner that you start building leadership skills, the more comfortable you'll be when you start to hit those higher ranks. You know, a lot of you guys who've been with me since day one, I think Tammy has been with me since day one, early on in 2014, and it's taken me 2 years to finally have the confidence to start having these team calls. You know, so don't hold yourself back. If you feel the need to share something on Facebook, or you feel the need to reach out to a friend or a family member, do it. Because, for an example, today I posted that video for some of you guys that, you know, watch that video. I can't tell you how long it took me to make that video and post it. I sat in the parking lot for probably an hour. But what I ended up doing is I just created the video because as I was leaving Starbucks, it was on my mind, and I was just like, I want to make a video. So freaking hour, 2 hours later, I finally managed to get through it. And then I posted it, and then I got a message from Amanda Dickerson. She's one of my sideline partners who I turn to a lot for advice in the business. And she ended up messaging me, and she was like, I love your video. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing. I posted it in my team page, and I, you know, encouraged my team to make the same, you know, make a video to share with their friends and family. So, and that was most of the time, if I share something, I'm the type of person sometimes, and Melissa knows, that I try to seek for approval. So before I do anything, I'm always asking, hey, what do you think about this? Is this okay? Does this sound right? So within myself, I'm trying to make my own decisions and just go with my gut instinct and do it without having to, you know, seek approval. And I know for some of you guys turn to me and do the same thing. It's okay. I totally understand. But also trust yourself. You know, that's where you have to grow the confidence and self-esteem within yourself. I know it's not easy, but I know that just by doing that, I was like, it felt good within myself that I made a right choice. I made the right decision without having to validate from anyone else. So those are just a couple of things to keep in mind. You guys, I see you guys all reaching out. You guys all message me. Joe, probably out of all you girls, Joe probably calls me the most. I love you, Joe. But I don't mind it. If I don't answer my phone, don't be like, oh my gosh, I'm bothering her. You guys, like, just share your excitement with me. Joe will call me and share with me when he leaves a business card with somebody, you know. So don't be afraid to reach out and share your guys' excitement. Joe, it's okay. It's okay. You guys you keep us excited. So with that all being said, is there any questions or anything that you guys want to share or talk about? I kind of want to make this like an open discussion where you guys all are right now.
I have a question. I forgot. I know you told me on the way back from the thing we went up to in Orlando. How many points when I actually am officially gold, I'm ready to get to senior gold. How many points do I need for that?
For senior gold or for
senior gold? Because if all my people qualify this month, I am gold.
Okay, that will, so for all of, so I'm sure you guys are all know what it takes to get to silver. So the next promotion is gold, and that's where some of you guys are working towards, and that is 20 active ambassadors who are commission qualified. That equals 100 points in your total organization with 15 points in your outside leg. So that's 15 points outside of your primary leg, your strong leg, the leg that brings you the most points, whatever you know that, whatever you call that.
I never knew that. I mean, I knew you needed 100, but I didn't know that some came from outside of it.
Yeah, I mean, so like for an example, pretty much your primary leg is your strongest leg. It's the leg that brings you the most points. You know, and it could equal out to be, I mean, if you're balanced, that's awesome. What I'm starting to learn from a lot of the jewels and other people that are higher up in the company is that there's a lot of jewels that are unbalanced. And that's kind of my struggle, but we are on my outside leg where we're growing tremendously. So I'm super excited. And by me seeing the growth of my outside points growing, that means that you guys are promoting. So that's what's exciting about it. That's why I keep pushing you guys, because, you know, like Annie said, she cried like when she saw her check, because, you know, she is another person that started the business and then she quit and then she decided to come back. So, you know, and she's now trying to really push to continue to promote within the company. Right after you hit gold as senior gold, and that's kind of a big jump. That's 250 points with 40 points in your outside leg.
So how many ambassadors is that?
To be quite honest, I mean, at that point, it could be, what is it? It really just depends, because if your team ends up growing and duplicating the power of 3, I mean, you end up, as you continue to go up in the ranks, you're starting to get to team members that are worth maybe 4 points or 3 points. Okay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So
that's where it can vary, where the first 2 promotions, most of your points are coming from your levels 1 through 3. You know, but then as your team starts to grow, then you can get down 7 levels and somebody can be only worth 1 point.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it really just depends.
Kind of complicated there.
Yeah, I mean, but that's where, Melissa will reach out to me for anybody that you guys are personally having struggles with on your team, or you feel that they're just not getting it. That's where you guys can all send me a message and just say, hey, you know, I really see potential in this person, but they're lacking in confidence or disbelief, or, you know, if something's not working for you and something is not happening and you just feel like you're a gerbil running on a wheel, then that's where we need to reevaluate what it is that you're doing. You know, I've been picking up the phone a lot and calling you guys. You know, I've even turned around and called somebody that's maybe not working the business, but he started taking the products to, you know, make better health choices. And so I called him today and he called me back, and I just checked in on him to see how he was doing. I know it's super easy sometimes to lose sight of picking up the phone because of Facebook messaging and text message, but if all of a sudden it's on your mind to pick up the phone and call somebody, do it, because most of the time they're very thankful that you have reached out to them and made contact with them. Like for an example, the person that Annette signed on, like I'm meeting her this Sunday, you know, and so that's where maybe sometimes we're not able to get through to that person, but maybe I can help you. So to make sure that we continue and they continue on their journey, whether it's for the use of products or for a business opportunity or for both, you know, and I'm just doing everything that I can to help you guys. And I just want to make sure that we all work together as a team and that you guys all understand that, you know, Bev is under Melissa, and as Bev continues to promote and she grows her team, it's overall helping Melissa. Do you guys all understand that concept? You guys get that? You know, so I just want to make sure that's where, you know, it's not my team. I mean, granted, sometimes we have a tendency to use that term, and this is our team call, you know, but like I said, I see, like, a couple weeks ago, Sarah Marvel ended up introducing somebody that recently promoted within her team. She said, our team has new gold rather than my team. And so that just goes to show you that all of us, that we're headed in the right direction. And, you know, I know for myself, for some of the people that I follow on Facebook and that I watch that are on different teams, ambassadors, you know, some of them come across as selfish because it's my team. You know, we did, you know, I did this, we did that. And that to me kind of is a turn off. And I don't want us giving off that vibe. You know, so I really, let's see, Annette, so let's see, Tammy, Annie Silver. So pretty much everybody that's on here is almost, Bev, Tammy, and Annette and Angelina are only 3 left to hit silver. So that's super exciting. And some of you guys already have you know, a head start. So is there anything that you guys would like to share?
So speaking of almost hitting silver, remember we were talking to Amber the other day?
Amber's the one, her husband, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she messaged me today, and she's going to join on Friday.
Yay! And that was our 10 o'clock Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. We were messaging each other back. What?
We missed the other team call on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It was Sunday. But just for an example, like what I ended up doing is we were messaging each other back and forth. And sometimes it's best to do the face-to-face because when you're typing a message out, her and her husband are wanting to take the products. And they're wanting to look into the triplex combo. So we recommended signing up as an ambassador because between the two of them taking products, they're going to get commission qualified.
Yep.
And so that's what we were pushing. But then she's somewhat familiar with network marketing. She does oils. So she was like, you know, what's the goal, or, you know, what's the whole purpose of hitting 100 PV? So that's when I was like, well, rather than me coming off as trying to make $1 off of her and what our company does, I was just like, hey, I'm going to give you a link. Just click on the link and you're going to see our faces. And that's how we ended up Zooming for like 45 minutes. Met her husband, met her dog. You know, so, and also what I like doing, you know, sometimes when you are introducing the business opportunity to a new person, whether we're doing a 3-way, I like doing the Zooms. They've become my favorite, or even sometimes through the phone calls, because it's giving them an idea of how easy this business really is. You know, you guys are all sitting in your bed, on your couch, you know, wherever. I mean, she was sitting on the floor. And so it just gives you an idea of just how easy it is to work this business. You know, you can work it from anywhere, anytime. Some of you, we can't see your face. You could be cooking dinner for all we know, or, you know, just doing random stuff, but you're listening, you're showing up, you know, you're taking it all in. And so that's what's really important. Sometimes when we have leaders calls, I can't participate as much as I would like, but I still dial in. So they see that I'm, you know, working the business day in and day out. But if you guys have anyone that, you know, that has potential and you want to do a Zoom meeting, by all means, please reach out to me and then we can try to set it up. You know, some of
Amanda has even gotten on a call when she was working and she snuck away. She's the most dedicated person.
I'm pretty sure I was in the bathroom stall.
I didn't want to say that if you didn't want anybody else knowing.
Oh, please. I'm pretty sure my team knows me by now that I'm an open book. I don't hide nothing. I'm pretty sure before she dialed in, I was sitting on the toilet. It was just you and Kelly. You do what you got to do. But, yeah, I mean, you know, I definitely try to do my best, you know, and let me tell you one thing, even more so that I want to hit Emerald, I want us to be an Emerald team, is because once I hit Emerald, I do not I no longer have to be scheduled working shifts at Beefs. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I do love it. But, you know, for an example, Monday night, like, and I worked Wednesday, I'm going to work this week. I work Wednesday night and I work Thursday night. So that's less time away from me pouring into you guys when most of you guys work your business at night, you know, or I miss calls. Like last night, I missed my leadership call that I couldn't participate. And I'm just like, I cringed because sometimes I know that we have to make sacrifices and we have to miss out on things, but just know by you sacrificing the time now, you're going to get that time back in the future. You know, sometimes like with my son being only 15 months old, I have like mom guilt where I feel like some days we don't even leave the house because I'm either doing house chores or I'm working my Plexus business. But I keep telling myself that he's not going to remember it right now, but he will when he's 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. And at that point of time, I will have a little bit more freedom. So, you know, that's another thing that with you guys that have little kids, like I feel like I do nothing with Grayson, but you know, every now and then I block time out and I give him a little time and work the Plexus business in between. But was there any other questions or anything that you guys want to talk about? Annette, Bev, Tracy? So I know.
Actually, there is one thing. If you guys, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you haven't watched the 2 videos that Kelly posted, it kind of addresses what you were talking about, Amanda. One of them is a TED video. I used to use them all the time at school, about, you know, being afraid to fail and yet growing from it. And I loved the way they talked about failure as being viewed as not yet. I haven't spent the time yet. It hasn't happened for me yet. I haven't failed. I just haven't succeeded yet. So that was one of the videos. And the other one was about self-confidence, and that's what you were addressing too. Being a skill. It is an acquired skill, and all you have to do is practice. So you can become more self-confident. You just need to keep working at it. You aren't born with it. It's not something that you can buy, but all you have to do is just practice. So if you get a chance, you might look at those 2 little videos that Kelly posted, because both of them kind of address what you were talking about, Odie.
All right.
And I think they would be helpful if they are.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I know she posted a lot of information today, so I haven't been able to go through it, but I'll definitely, if you know what videos those are, feel free to share them in the team page.
Okay.
You know, and another thing that when she said the TED thing, I don't know if some of you guys Google it, but this is going to sound really corny. Angelina probably will know what I'm talking about because I learned it at Chase. Or because, you know, I used to work on the phones, customer service, and I used to do home loan modifications over the phone. And one of the things that they did for training purposes was, are you a Fred? Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
Fred, wasn't he a postman, Angelina? He did something with the post office. Anyways, Google it. And it just really shared some examples of how to be Fred-like. And that's something where you go above and beyond for your customers. Now, I know that right now we're having some shipping issues. You know, I'm all I can say is sorry. You know, at this point, I understand how frustrating it is. You know, I know some of you guys, your customers are probably upset, and new ambassadors are, but it's just, this is just part of the business right now. And there is a lot, I mean, all the jewels, I talked to Kelly yesterday on the phone, her and I talk every day. And, you know, I mean, there's some people that are wanting to quit because of it, but, you know, I mean, because we're not going to an 8-to-5 job, or there's been times where I've worked for a company where I can't stand my boss or I can't stand some of the people I work with. Do you guys do you just get to quit? I mean, Annette, how many times do you get upset at where you work right now? And how many times that you've told me that you just want to quit, but you're still there, right? You know?
I mean, I want to add something to that. Most of you guys know that I ran a vitamin store for 5 years. What you probably don't know is I work for a company called Vitamin World, and we actually we're owned by a large manufacturer. So we actually made our own vitamins. I cannot tell you how many times I missed goal on a monthly basis, which was thousands of dollars, because my own company, who makes their own products, didn't have it in stock. So part of business, it's frustrating. But people are delusional if they think that this is just a part of reality. I mean, it happens. And it'll happen at GNC. It'll happen at Walmart. It'll happen at vitamin stores. It'll happen, with Joe at Publix. It happens with every single business. It's frustrating. Just stay positive. Know that we understand we're all in the same boat. We're all consumers, but it's going to happen no matter where you go. Even if people are making their own vitamins in their basement, they're going to run out of stuff. Buying those.
Yes. And that's, I mean, you guys, I'm here. If you guys need a vent, you guys can feel free to send me a message, I know some of you guys know that about me, but I also do my best that when you do vent, we try to make it positive. And right now, that's what I'm trying to do. Is so regardless of these shipping issues, this is a perfect opportunity for us to pour in to each other, to pour into yourself, to continue to build yourself and build your business regardless of what's going on. Unfortunately, it's a hit or miss. Some people, there must have been a time period where people that ordered their products at the end of February that got hit with something, the shipping label or whatever, that got stuck there. And some people who had already ordered after the end, beginning of March, I've already have a tracking number. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. I don't have any idea why some things worked out. Nobody really has any idea, but the diamonds, the jewels, everybody is just as frustrated as you all are, but it's just a matter of your attitude. What it is, what are you going to do with it? And so, I listen to each and every single one of you guys. Some of you, don't stress over it. You can't, I continue to remind myself that if it's something that I can't control, I try to take a deep breath and remind myself that this is out of my control. There's nothing I can do. And I handle it so much a little bit better now that I remind myself that this is out of my control. Is there, those are some questions you need to ask yourself when a situation that comes up or something that happens, somebody messages you. You ask yourself, is there anything that I can do to make this better? What can I do to turn this situation around? Tracy has a girl on her. This is another thing that is, if something happens or you're missing product out of your order, whatever the situation may be, notify your sponsor or a leader ASAP. Don't wait months to share, to tell or do anything about it. That happened with somebody on our team. They ordered a product back in November, and they're just now trying to handle the situation. So it's just do everything I can to satisfy, our team, our customers. But, that's money out of my pocket that I'm trying to do because maybe you weren't the responsible adult. Well, so that's something that's important, that each of us, we're a leader. We're all adults. You all know how most of this business works. Each of us have our own responsibilities, and it's your job and it's our job to train our downline that way. A lot of people sit there and say, well, when you guys sign up, you guys are all aware of how the backup order and the auto qualification orders work. I'm not going to reach out to every single one of you at the end of the month or go through my back office and hit my downline and check the dates of each one and say, hey, by the way, you're not 100 PV, so don't forget your backup order is going to ship. That's that's our job to know that. That's where it's our responsibilities. So we just have to make sure that, sometimes it's hard, it wasn't easy for me to reach out to that, that team member and say, hey, like, we all have responsibilities here. It's our job. I'll definitely do the best I can to help you. But from here on out, you need to make sure that you stay a little bit more on top of things if you choose to work this business. I mean, that's what makes it difficult about people that quit the business or that work it part, that only work the business when they choose they want to, they feel they want to work the business, because then they're not aware of what's going on. They may not hear things. They're catching either the beginning of it or the end of it. So that's something that, I learned today, that for those people who don't participate in the team calls, or at least show face once a month to hear a little bit or read and stay up on the team page, like, either you stay up on our team page and you participate in team calls once or twice a month, do the best you can, and then there's going to be things that you may be getting upset about because you missed some information. So, those are just something to keep in mind, that from now on, that I learned that I'll be sharing with people that maybe aren't working the business, but 10% of the time. And that's something to keep in mind to share with your team members too. So, but I could sit here and ramble on all night. But is there anything that each of you guys want to share? Angelina, Joe, Bev, thank you so much for sharing those videos with us. I'll definitely take a look at them. We're all good?
Yeah,
all right.
I'm good.
You're good? So I know that Annette is going to stay on the Zoom call. If there's anything that you guys want to share or talk to me about, feel free to stay on the call, and then we can talk about it in smaller formality.
Good night, guys.
Night, Joe. Thank you. Hey, Melissa, Bev, let me know how things go with Drew. I'm excited for you. I know.
I'll let you know. I'm going to go downstairs and go try to harass him right now.
Drew. It's so funny because when I picked up the twins last week. Oh, let me stop recording. Hold on.
Yeah, please.